So if this is a meeting about why you don't need to be an officer, why the hell am I here?
Wow.
Let me be real clear on something. Anybody that has that suit on, in my opinion, damn sure deserved it. And I don't have anything other to say than that.
That is the truth.
That's not for our protection, even if the chief of police say our cameras don't have to be on in PDG. You're the only one who can for PDG. PDG is supposed to be a place where people can come and talk about shit they got going on. People don't want to do that no more because they know that you're camming and they don't want their personal business recorded. There's times when you use body cam and there's times when you don't. Even in IRL, police body cam isn't active until they throw on their blue lights or they engage in a situation. The sound doesn't even come on until they engage in the situation or blue lights come on. Even in IRL, the police does not body cam everywhere they go. They only got their body cam on when they're engaged in a situation or going out on patrol.
True. Let me stop you for 1 sec, King. If anybody has hold on
a second, bro. Hold on a second, because she wants to know why people avoid her. I'm telling her right now. That's why people avoid you when they're talking. That's why when you're around, people move from away from you to talk and speak. You feel me? Because they know that you're camming. People don't want certain aspects of their life and their business out there like that.
I understand where you're coming from on that, King, but what I was going to say is there's been a lot of people in this department that I've had a problem with, and all I did was simply avoid them. If y'all have a problem with Decker and y'all can't talk to her, find somebody else to talk to. That's why we have a team. This isn't a one-person thing.
Nah, we're not doing that avoiding, bro. We all one department. We're not doing that avoiding the officer because we don't like them. Because then who's to say you get used to avoiding them? Who's to say when you get used to avoiding them, you see they got a backup call on the radio and you say, oh, I don't fuck with them, so I ain't gonna respond to their call. That's a fact. You cannot avoid a suit. They're superior.
That's not what I'm talking about, King. I'm talking about when it comes to personal matters, if you have something you need to discuss with somebody. I'm not talking about avoiding them altogether because we still have to have everybody's back in here. I'm just talking about the personal aspect of it. If you have a private conversation you want to have with somebody and there's someone you don't trust in here, don't have a conversation with them. It's very simple.
Listen, it's not a private conversation. Like right now, all of us standing right here, I could be like, shit, bro, hell yeah, bro, I got goddamn some kids out there, shit. Somebody else could jump into the conversation and be like, yeah, bro, I got a kid, bro, my kid is such and such and such and such. Their names is such and such and such and such. We do this. We be having general conversations. It's not all about being private. It's just down here in PDG, people have general conversations. That's how we learn about each other. That's how we learn where each other is from. You feel me? What people got going on IRL. You feel me? Everybody does not want that documented. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not about a private conversation. It's about when people are speaking in general, they talk about their IRL things. They talk about personal shit that they don't want people documenting. That's why majority of the people in here don't turn on cam. Even me, I turn off my body cam at PDG. Now, if a suspect like, a suspect is requesting the supervisor on the way to PDG, I'm gonna go ahead and flip on my goddamn body cam because I know I'm finna encounter him. But just standing around with my cam rolling, no, I don't do that. They don't even do that in IRL, bro.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from on that. I do, but I kind of have a feel, I'm kind of leaning towards Decker. I don't know if she'd really share people's IRL shit, to be honest with you.
I never said she was. Y'all missing the whole point. Next subject, y'all.
Right, I was just about to say that too.
Look, it's the fact it's on record. That's what's bothering you. And as for me, and I've only been here a very short time, I'm going to tell you this, Decker, being by the book, I'm going to tell you something like this. By the book, The book is not always the answer. I feel like you always feel like you have something to prove. That's not the case. This is a video game. This is not the real police department where females are not valued or not seen. As somebody who has been in those places, I can tell you that's not the case, at least on the video game, because number one, you don't know if anybody's who is actually who they say they are. Everybody could just be, lying. So there's nothing you have to prove to complete strangers. If we're being completely honest, if we delete the game and Discord, we're all strangers again. So just understand that not every answer has to go to the book. There is discretion as a suit. You have discretion. Understand that. And there's times for a conversation. And there's roles for specific people. That's the thing I feel like you need to understand.
I will add one thing though, Decker. If somebody does come to you, and they want to have a legitimate conversation with you, if it's something you feel like you need to turn into the higher ups, I think that needs to be stated during that conversation with that person and not something behind their back. I don't know if that's ever been the case before, but that's absolutely how it needs to be taken care of from here on out, if that's not already the case.
And you have a suit. This is nobody. I just want to say this before you continue on. This is nobody undermining your ability as a suit. I've seen you work. I've seen you in the field. Okay. There's nobody doubting anything like that. We're just saying, okay, show some discretion. Don't always jump to the book for everything. And, handle everything at your own accord. Meaning, if you bring a situation to like King or Chanel, right? Let them handle it, because at that point it's it's in the chain of command. There's the reason that stuff exists. You get what I'm saying?
How many? Not calling nobody soft or nothing like that, right? But how many people y'all know actually, especially in the workplace, even IRL? How many people y'all actually know who goes to the person to address their problems with them?
I do every time.
Everybody not 10 toes down. Everybody's not 10 toes down, bro. Everybody doesn't have that same drive to go say, bro, what's your problem with me? Or yo, what's your problem? Or what's your issue with me? Everybody don't have that same courage. Might be scared to come say anything to you. They might be scared to come